Hello everyone, we are Team 3 and we are going to talk about the effect of online classes on the students and faculty at ITESM SECU and possible solutions, a case study. The purpose of this case study is to show how the pandemic affected our college life, teachers and students. During these past few months, the field study was Tecnológico de Monterrey Campus Querétaro, and we want to know better how the institute was adapted to our classes because people sometimes feel that the staying at home is not making a huge difference, but it's bigger than what we think.
Since the beginning of the pandemic, our lives have drastically changed, mainly in the way we take classes, from face-to-face interaction to online interaction. Well, in our community at Campus Querétaro, things have changed, but in a different way. On a survey conducted from the 11th to the 19th of September of the current year, we gathered certain facts, like most of the population experience connection problems, or they find distractions at home. Furthermore, 64.1% of our population of students don't feel like they are properly learning. In general, there is a lack of discipline and malcontent from all the people at Campus Querétaro.
Well, we found that our major problem or our main problem was the overall learning experience and the in-class lack of concentration that is found on online classes. So we proposed three alternative solutions. The first one is to take virtual classes with virtual reality sets, so we can like have a more immersive experience while we are at the virtual classroom. This will help also to find like a better learning experience because we have our classmates and teachers in the same virtual space. Another one is log classes. What this means is that when the time of a class is to begin, you log in a special platform and your computer logs everything out except the class, so you can only interact with the class and nothing more, and you always have your camera on. This will help like to students to focus more on classes because they have no really other distractions other than the class itself. The third and final solution we propose is an interactive classes with a special platform. This means that when we are taking classes, we can interact in some ways with the teacher and the teacher with us by clicking or pointing things, and we can like direct the direction that the class is taking.
So for the recommendations, we must start using a model where the most important thing can be the consolidation of group dynamics. The other one, please, Andre. So the creation of applications where the teacher can interact in a better way with the student, and this must be joined with synthesis in the information in the classes in order to make the theory less boring. So this has to be complemented with exhaustive training for the teachers, so they know how to use these tools in depth, and how their class can become more interactive and innovative. Next, please. For classes that require practicals, laboratories, or workshops, it is imperative to digitize models like this, for example, that serve as simulators of these kind of workshops or practices. So the virtual reality here is where it will play a very important role in the education of tomorrow. Next, please. And in order of course, for this set of new tools to work correctly, the educational institutions may have identified 3 gaps. These are the 3 gaps: the access gap, the use gap, and the school gap. The first one tell us how many students can have an internet connection and the availability and technological devices. The second one measure the time and the quality of this time. And the third one is the teacher skills and the resources of the school itself.
Well, how can this be implemented? I think educational institutions, they need to analyze all the possibilities and the odds, and they need to have in mind if the fact that if they really have the capability in order to sustain this kind of project that is the online education. Mm, Via surveys and statistics, we have acquainted some data that helps us to understand how students tend to fall in some parts of their education. For example, as one of my fellow partners said in the beginning, most of students, they don't have the desire to learn because they are sick of being in the computer. Also, we need to have in mind that most governments invest only 2 or 2.5% of the internal product. And with these educational models that are expensive, they will need to invest more. And also, we need to have in mind that the time for these applications to be developed is really long, 3 or 5 years. They need to set a lot of stuff in order to develop some applications that can help the online education challenges that the society has nowadays.
Okay, for the conclusions, in the online classes in Tecnológico de Monterrey Campus Querétaro, they haven't been successful due to the way they were implemented and how fast everybody, both professors and students, have had to adapt to the academic environment. On one hand, professors found it difficult to teach through a computer because students get easily distracted, as we have mentioned before. On the other hand, most students believe that they're not learning properly, and it is difficult to adapt to certain circumstances like missing laboratories, extra classes, and interactions that occur in school between teachers and students. Additionally, the main problem for us is the institutional one. We are worried about the disagreement of students, thinking that that is not the best way of learning and they're losing interest in school. We know for a fact that for now, the only way we can learn is through online classes. And this has changed students' and teachers' behaviors and made it more challenging and sometimes making it difficult to stay concentrated and focused. Nevertheless, we can change the attitude and behaviors by finding better ways and methods of learning, helping teachers and students feel better during classes and motivated to pay attention. So a couple of proposals, as we have mentioned before, could improve the learning capabilities of students, as well as the virtual reality and log classes and different platforms to make learning more interactive and increase students' participation and creativity. Thank you for your time.